Okay, live. Okay, it's Monday, and I haven't been on for the weekend because it's been a rainy weekend. And here it is, it's rainy now. And this is of importance to the pastured poultry man, or woo man, because what we're doing here is making a decision to move even in the rain. And it's raining pretty good right now. And it's cold. We actually lost 10 the day before yesterday. It happens. It's part of it. It started raining at night, and they just sat out in it and got completely drenched. And the ones that sat out in it, they just got hypothermia and died, most likely. So, okay, let's walk through this. This is spring poultry, and it's not the same as summer poultry. Summer poultry is going to be a lot more forgiving as far as rain goes, because right now we get rain and it's cold out. It's probably, I wonder if my microphone's working good. It's probably 40, and there's a slight wind. So when the animals get wet, even if we got wet at 40, you can still get hypothermia and can do you in. What is going to happen here, we've done this enough times that we know, when an incident like this happens, when you have a couple days of rain, I guess it's 3 now we've had, and it's cold, the birds are going to get stressed out. When these birds get stressed, they get coccidiosis. If they have any coccidia going on in their gut, it flourishes after an incident like this when they're highly stressed. So we're going to be on the lookout for that, and we're going to get a bunch of biochar going to them to try and curb that. We made a decision today to move them. Sometimes it's better if they're sitting on manure-y ground that's a little bit dry than to put them on wet grass. But you can see it's gotten a real heavy layer, and I want it to get some rain on it so that we don't have any permanent damage right here. I don't think we will. I hardly ever do. While I'm at it, why don't I turn around and just show you where we came from. You can see where we started. There's a little bit of a remnant there. You can see where we started, but not a whole lot. And you can see the growth it's bolstered. I can see from this vantage point that it's really starting to motor, so it'll really do well. Okay, so we made that decision to move, and Keith just did that. Now he's heading up for parts unknown. This is his chore for the day. When we only have 2 tractors going, he doesn't have a whole lot to do. But starting tomorrow, we get our first load of chicks. We're getting 400 tomorrow, so the brooder will be full, and he'll have quite a bit more to do out here. Then he will handle the mowing out here and things like that. This will be kind of his domain. He's the one that takes responsibility, and he actually did take responsibility for the 10 dead that he had would have been Saturday night, and I appreciate that. It happens, it happens. I think maybe if a guy had an alarm that woke him up and he knew that it started raining at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he could get over here, and if there's any of them out, he could put them in. Maybe he could have saved them. I don't know. Birds are awful dumb. We are thinking about a mod on the front of this tractor, about getting some solid doors, some solid aluminum doors, and putting them on there. Yeah, thinking about that. It's just been really nice to have that open, and when you feed, you're just pulling the feeders out and throwing it in. And the birds get a lot of nice sun in the front there, so that's really nice. Here's a front view. Okay. That reminds me, YouTube is, or Facebook is having some problems with this Facebook Live thing, but they are going to continue with it, and so we're going to continue with it. I know that there's some problems. It's a little bit, it stops and starts, and then you have gaps in the film. But let's just keep with it. We're going to get better. We're going to try and get some apparatus to make our filming a little bit better. And so let's just stay with it for a while and see if they can get their act together. So far, they've been real good with us because, believe it or not, there are not that many people that like to make a live video. I happen to be one of those people that I like it better than making regular videos, because when I make a regular video, I have a tendency to say, oh, that sounded stupid. I'm going to go back and do it over again. And you forget what you said, and, it's more difficult, I think, than to just pull the old phone out and make a live video. And, it'd be one thing if there was 100,000 people that all of a sudden decided to tune in, but it's about the same small group of people that are interested in what we are doing here. We're transitioning from the folks that were interested in us scrapping with the state. We're not scrapping with the state anymore, not because we don't want to, it's just, but there's nothing really to scrap about. They're leaving us alone, we're leaving them alone. And that's the way it can stay. That's what I'm lobbying for. So those folks that were watching that whole process, I think that maybe they're not as interested in the whole farming thing of what we were scrapping over than the scrap itself. So now we're just back to digging in and running the farm and discovering some new things. And I'm telling you that as soon as we kind of transitioned to a more productive place, and that is running the farm, growing food, learning, sharing, all those good things, the magic of the farm has returned. And there's so many things that I can't wait to do. I'll just share a couple of those, but we have ponds on this farm, and when I got the place, I thought, wow, you can do so much with a pond, as far as aquaculture, growing fish, and just routing water here and there and using it for irrigation and things like that. I also have an old well casing up here by the house. It's not used, but there's still good water in it. And I'm looking into putting up a wind turbine that'll turn an air compressor and then use the compressed air to bring the water up to the top. And it's up here, it's up here on top. The back part of our property is probably 30 feet lower than the front parts, and that's where the ponds are. And one pond is probably at 20 feet, and then the one over there is at 30 feet. So I can pump water from up here, utilize it up here for feeding water and animals, and then the runoff from it, I can run down into the pond. I'm looking into ways to feed fish and what we can use for that, and I think we have what we need here. We just got to learn how to process it properly. And we go through a lot of heartache to raise chickens, but imagine if we were raising bass in that pond and I had to tell the kids, okay kids, get your fishing poles, we got to go out tonight and catch bass. That would go over okay, and it would be fun. And we could have bass in that pond, and we could have catfish down in that pond. And, both of them thrive on just a little bit of help, and then they're good to eat. And it's a fun process. And it actually would round things up. Because let's say we had fish coming out of this pond here, and let's say we could grow maybe 200 good-sized bass in 2 years, something like that. And I think you'd have an overlap in there. I don't know, I got to get smart on that. But then you'd bring them up to the shop and you'd process them. And, well, what would you do with the guts and the heads and all that stuff? Well, of course, those go to the pigs. So it's a nice kind of cycle. And, yeah, well, it's those types of things that when you get freed from having to defend yourself from rogue politicians, you can unleash your mind and start to think of fun things to do and productive things to do. Everything can be fun and productive too, I believe. Okay, I'm rambling. Let me get on with my my life here. I'm reading a couple of things here. Randy Buchler. I'm really happy to see where you guys are taking your farm. Such a better, more productive use of your farm. What a loser. All right, thanks, Randy. Okay, this is Mark from Baker's Green Acres. I'm going to sign off for now. We'll pick it up tomorrow when we get our first big load of chicks. Let's see. Our fencing class is coming up on the 13th of May. Pastured Poultry class is coming up on the 20th and 21st of May. All this stuff can be accessed at bakersgreenacres.com. My wife is sending out big orders this morning to people who have taken advantage of our farming abilities to raise good, clean meats and get them to Mr. UPS, and he delivers them right to your door. So we need some help with that. Let's see. There's another thing that I was going to say. Oh, all right. There's going to be 250 people that see this video. All right. Now, a lot of people are just interested in farming, but they're not interested in buying products from us. And I totally get that. You're farming your own stuff, or you have a farmer near you, something like that. But if you would share this video, you might share it with somebody that is interested. And if we can get a nice flow of products going off this farm, it gives us the ability to, maybe get a cameraman, maybe spend more time on the instructional videos, developing other, systems of growing food that we will share. We'd like to be able to, give out a lot of scholarships to Anyone Can Farm programs, because the idea of that really is to share this information, these disciplines with other folks. Randy just said, losers don't share videos. Yeah. So that would be a great help. Please just hit the share button on this thing, and then maybe people will start going back and look at some of the other videos and start seeing what we're doing and why we're doing it and get interested in it. And either they will want to use our products and buy our products, or they'll just become part of the family here. So that's what I have. I'm going to keep reminding you of that. This is Mark from Baker's Green Acres. Remember, anyone can farm. Do it yourself or shake hands with the guy who does. Sayonara.